Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into Mitsui OSK Lines,
MOL.
MOL. Yeah, you got it.
MOL for short.
For short, they're celebrating a big anniversary, 140 years
Wow.
in the business, and we're going to use their 2024 integrated report and some other materials to
Lovely.
kind of get a sense of how they're navigating the world of global shipping.
Okay.
It's not just about, moving cargo from point A to point B anymore.
Right.
There's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
So we're going to unpack their business segments, their growth strategies, and their commitment to shareholder value.
Sounds good.
What's really fascinating to me is this idea that they want to become a
Yeah.
resilient global enterprise. And it seems like what they're going for is this balance, a steady hand on the tiller,
Yeah.
but at the same time expanding into new waters.
It makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a reflection of the changing world we're living in.
Yeah.
Companies like MOL, they're realizing that they got to be adaptable. They got to be responsible in so many different ways. It's not just about profit anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they're building a ship that's meant to weather any storm.
Exactly.
All right. So let's take a look at the blueprints.
I mean,
Their plan, Blue Louie Action 2035, that lays out a course
yeah.
with 3 core strategies:
Mm-hmm.
portfolio, regional, and environmental.
Okay.
And then on top of that, they're tackling 5 key sustainability issues:
Mm.
environment safety, human capital, digital transformation, and governance.
Wow, that's a comprehensive plan.
Yeah, they're really trying to cover all their bases.
It seems like it.
And this is something that we're seeing more and more of, across industries.
Definitely.
This idea of sustainability being, baked into the business from the start.
Mm-hmm.
But MOL seems to be taking a particularly proactive approach.
Yeah, they're definitely ahead of the curve.
Yeah, so let's dive into the engine room.
All right, let's do it.
Their business is divided into 4 main segments.
Okay.
And the first one is dry bulk. So this is where they're transporting essential commodities,
Mm.
like iron or coal grains, kind of the backbone
Right, the essentials.
of global trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's interesting here is their focus on decarbonization,
Mm-hmm.
even in this sector, which, traditionally has been pretty carbon intensive.
It's true. Yeah.
So they're going all in on LNG and methanol dual fuel vessels.
Wow.
They're experimenting with ammonia and hydrogen fuels.
Interesting.
And they're even using what they call green steel
Okay.
for newly built vessels.
That's pretty impressive.
So it's really a transformation.
It is. It is. And it's not just about, being green or eco-friendly.
Yeah.
It's a smart business move
Hmm.
as the world is demanding more sustainable practices.
Right.
MOL is right there at the forefront,
Yeah.
attracting those environmentally conscious customers and investors.
Yeah.
They're building a competitive advantage right into their fleet.
So it's good for the planet and good for business.
Exactly. Win-win.
A win-win.
Hmm.
Okay, now let's move on to their energy segment, where things get really interesting.
All right.
We're talking LNG, chemical products,
Mm-hmm.
and offshore wind power.
Wow.
So this is where you can really see MOL charting a course towards the future of energy.
Yeah.
They're even establishing a new division
Oh, wow.
that's focused on carbon removal, next generation energy solutions, and CCS.
CCS.
Yeah, carbon capture and storage.
Okay.
For those of you listening in, it's a way to capture carbon dioxide emissions
Sure.
from industrial processes and store them underground
Oh,
so they don't enter the atmosphere.
yes, sir.
It's a game changer in the fight against climate change.
Absolutely.
And MOL is wisely positioning itself
Yeah.
right at the front.
They're not just riding the wave, they're helping to create it.
Exactly. And that proactive approach is likely to pay off as the world transitions to cleaner energy sources.
For sure.
Okay, so let's shift gears now to their product transport segment.
Okay.
This is where they handle things like cars, container cargoes, you name it.
The stuff we use every day.
Yeah, the stuff we see moving around the world. And it seems like their focus here is on forging strong partnerships with clients
Okay.
and, again, reducing emissions.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they're emphasizing the use of LNG-fueled vessels
Right.
for this purpose.
So that consistent commitment to cleaner operations across their business.
Yeah, it's like they're weaving sustainability into the very fabric of their operations.
Yeah, I like that.
Finally, we have the well-being and lifestyle segment.
Okay.
And this one might surprise some folks.
Yeah, and I'm curious.
So it's a diverse mix. It includes real estate ferries and even cruises.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's a really smart move to diversify their portfolio and tap into growing markets,
Definitely.
especially in regions like India, where the demand for these services is on the rise.
Yeah, it seems like they're really casting a wide net,
Yeah.
exploring all these different opportunities.
Yeah, and making sure that they're not overly reliant
Right.
on any single sector.
Mm,
So we've seen their strategy, their
Yep.
commitment to sustainability.
yeah.
But how does this all translate into financial performance?
Right. The bottom line.
Yeah, that's where we'll head next.
I'm ready when you are, Ackerty. Let's open the books. Well, the numbers definitely paint a compelling story. MOL significantly exceeded their profit targets for the first year of Billowy Action 2035.
That's a good sign.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a strong indicator that their plan is working. They achieved a profit before tax
Oh,
of $295.4 billion
wow.
in fiscal year 2023, and that actually surpassed their target
Oh, wow.
of $240 billion for fiscal year 2025, which is the final year
Okay.
of phase 1 of Billowy Action 2035. So they're ahead of schedule,
So they're ahead of schedule.
which is always a good sign.
That's impressive. But what do these numbers really mean?
Right.
For someone who's trying to understand MOL's financial health,
Mm-hmm.
what are the key metrics that we should be looking at?
Well, let's start with their net gearing ratio.
Okay.
It came in at 0.88, which is excellent,
Look at
especially
there.
when you compare it to their target range of 0.9 to 1.0. Now, for those who might not be familiar with this ratio,
Right.
it basically measures a company's financial leverage.
Right.
So a lower ratio like MOL's indicates that they're using less debt to finance their assets,
Mm-hmm.
which means they're less vulnerable to things like interest rate fluctuations and economic downturns.
That makes sense.
And it gives them more flexibility to make investments and pursue growth opportunities.
So a low net gearing ratio suggests that they're financially stable and well-positioned for the future.
Exactly. Now let's look at their return on equity, or ROE.
Okay.
They hit 12.2%, exceeding their target range of 9 to 10%.
Wow.
This tells us that they're effectively using shareholder investments to generate profit. It's a sign of strong management and a well-executed strategy.
That's great news for investors.
It is.
But we can't forget about their environmental performance,
Right.
especially with their focus on sustainability.
Of course.
How are they measuring up in that regard?
Well, their GHG emission intensity reduction rate was number 7.2%. So this means they've reduced the amount of greenhouse gases emitted per unit of transport,
Okay.
which is a crucial metric for a shipping company striving for decarbonization.
Yeah.
Now they've set an ambitious target of a negative 45% reduction by 2035,
Wow.
which will require continued investment and innovation.
It seems like they're walking the walk when it comes to sustainability.
They are.
So let's dig a little deeper into the factors that are driving their financial success.
Okay.
What can we learn from their income statement?
Well, their shipping and other revenues saw significant growth in fiscal year 2023, reaching $1,611,984 million,
Okay.
which is a substantial increase from the previous year.
Wow.
This was driven by a strong shipping market,
Okay.
particularly for dry bulks commodities.
Hmm.
Their strategic expansion into stable revenue businesses like offshore wind power and real estate also played a key role.
So a combination of favorable market conditions and some smart strategic decisions.
Precisely. And while they did experience an increase in expenses, primarily due to higher fuel costs, which is a common challenge in the industry,
Yeah.
they managed these costs effectively, preserving their profitability.
Look.
It's a testament to their operational efficiency.
Yeah, for sure. So let's move on to their balance sheet.
All right.
You already mentioned their healthy net gearing ratio,
Yeah.
which indicates responsible debt management.
Right.
Anything else worth highlighting?
Well, their total assets grew significantly in fiscal year 2023, reaching $3,564,247 million.
Okay.
This was largely fueled by those strategic investments we discussed, particularly in their energy and real estate segments.
Right.
They're clearly putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to diversifying their portfolio and pursuing sustainable growth.
So their balance sheet reflects their commitment to both growth and financial stability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now let's examine their cash flow statement,
Okay.
which provides insights into their ability to generate and manage cash. Their cash flow from operating activities was particularly impressive, hitting $549,925 million in fiscal year 2023.
Okay.
This is a direct result of their strong operating profits and efficient management of working capital.
That's a lot of cash.
Yeah.
What does it tell us about their financial strength?
It shows they're not just profitable on paper, they're generating real cash from their operations,
Right.
which is essential for any company looking to invest in growth, pay dividends, or reduce debt.
Yeah.
It gives them options and flexibility.
Speaking of options, let's talk about free cash flow,
Okay.
which is often considered a key indicator
Yes,
of a company's financial health.
absolutely.
What's the story there?
Well, MOL generated $267,930 million in free cash flow in fiscal year 2023.
Okay.
Now free cash flow represents the cash left over
Right.
after covering essential capital expenditures like investments in new ships and infrastructure.
Okay.
It's the cash they have available to reward shareholders, pay down debt, or make strategic acquisitions.
So a healthy free cash flow gives them the financial freedom to pursue various strategic options.
Exactly. They're not just staying afloat, they're navigating towards a promising future.
It seems like MOL has a really solid financial foundation.
Yeah.
Their profitability, balance sheet strength, and robust cash flow put them in a great position to capitalize on new opportunities and navigate the challenges ahead.
For sure.
But what about their plans to create shareholder value?
Yeah.
How are they looking out for their investors? We've seen MOL's impressive financials, but let's talk about how they plan to share that success with their shareholders. What's their approach to shareholder value?
Well, they've committed to a 30% payout ratio for dividends,
Okay,
meaning they'll distribute 30% of their profits to shareholders.
that's a pretty solid commitment,
It is.
especially for a company that's also investing so heavily in growth.
Yeah, it shows they're really trying to balance the needs of both long-term growth and rewarding their investors today.
Are there any other plans on the horizon for shareholders?
Well, they're considering share buybacks in the future,
Okay.
which can be another way to boost shareholder value
Right.
by reducing the number of shares outstanding,
Okay.
thereby increasing earnings per share. However, they've made it clear that their priority right now is investing in their future,
Yeah.
particularly those strategic investments that we discussed earlier.
Right.
It's about finding that sweet spot between rewarding shareholders in the present and building a stronger, more valuable company for the future.
It's a balancing act, for sure.
Yeah.
So they're financially strong, strategically focused, and committed to shareholder value.
Right.
But what does the future hold for MOL?
Right.
The shipping industry is facing a lot of disruption,
Yeah.
from geopolitical tensions to technological advancement. How are they navigating these choppy waters?
Well, what's interesting is they seem to be embracing these challenges as opportunities.
Okay.
They're actively shaping the future of the industry by investing in cutting-edge technologies like Wind Challenger and by proactively addressing those sustainability concerns.
We talked about Wind Challenger a bit earlier.
Yeah,
But can you remind us what that is and why it's such a big deal?
sure. Imagine modern-day sailing ships,
Okay.
but equipped with state-of-the-art technology.
Okay.
That's essentially what Wind Challenger is.
right.
It's a hard-sail wind power propulsion system
Okay.
that harnesses wind energy to propel ships,
Wow.
reducing reliance on fossil fuels
hmm
and significantly cutting greenhouse gas emissions.
So it sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
How much of an impact can this technology really have?
Well, their second Wind Challenger-equipped vessel,
Okay.
the Green Winds, was delivered in July 2024.
Okay.
And they're anticipating fuel savings of around 7% to 16%, depending on the route.
Wow.
That translates to a significant reduction in emissions and operational costs.
Those are some serious savings. How many of these wind-powered ships do they plan to have?
Their goal is to have 25 Wind Challenger-equipped vessels by 2030
Wow.
and a whopping 80 by 2035.
That's ambitious.
It is. They've already committed to owning 9 vessels with this technology. It's a bold move, but if it pays off, it could revolutionize the industry and solidify MOL's position as a leader in sustainable shipping.
It's exciting to see a company embracing innovation on such a large scale, but it's not all smooth sailing, right?
Of course not.
What are some of the risks or challenges that they're facing?
Well, the global economic environment is always a concern.
Right.
A slowdown in global trade could impact demand for shipping services.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Plus, there's always the risk that new technologies, even more disruptive than Wind Challenger,
Right.
could emerge, leaving MOL behind the curve.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget the ever-evolving regulatory landscape with new environmental regulations and trade policies
Yeah.
potentially increasing costs or creating new hurdles.
It sounds like they're navigating a complex and ever-changing landscape.
It is.
But from what we've learned today, they seem well-equipped to handle it.
I agree.
They have a clear vision,
Uh-huh.
a strong financial foundation, and a commitment to innovation and sustainability.
Absolutely. They're a company to watch not just for their impressive performance, but also for their leadership in shaping a more sustainable future for the shipping industry.
It's been a fascinating deep dive into the world of MOL.
It has.
So what can you, the listener, take away from all of this? MOL's story reminds us that even in traditional industries like shipping innovation, sustainability and long-term thinking are vital for success.
For sure.
It's a story that challenges us to think differently about the companies we support and the impact they have on the world.
I think it also highlights the importance of diversification, strategic investments, and a commitment to creating value for all stakeholders, not just shareholders.
Yeah.
MOL is demonstrating that doing good for the planet and doing well for business can go hand in hand.
That's a powerful message. We'll be keeping an eye on MOL as their journey continues. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. If MOL's story has sparked your curiosity, we encourage you to explore their integrated report and other materials. You can find links in the show notes. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.